I've been playing GTA Online somewhat actively for the last 2 years or so, and I've racked up more than 300 hours in the game, but I realised something recently. Very few of those hours were spent doing what Rockstar actually intended for me to do.
I like what that if you walk in a puddle, you'll get the effects that you walk in a puddle.
When GTA Online launched in late 2013, it set the scene very clearly. Money is everything. Though every update was technically free, you required in-game currency to purchase the properties, vehicles and upgrades that comprised these updates. Despite criticism from day one for how it motivated paying real money for currency, it was GTA. Let's be honest, that was never gonna slow them down. 6 years, 100 million copies, and unimaginable profits later, that strategy is yet to fail. And that's because the online experience is finely tuned to maximize profits for the company. Say that you wish to experience the content from a new update with your friends. Well, you'll need money, and to do so you have several options, but many of them are functionally identical. You could buy a bunker, which allows you to source and sell weapons, or an import-export garage, which allows you to source and sell cars, or a hangar, which allows you to source and sell airborne products, or a motorcycle club business which allows you to source and sell illegal substances. Better yet, you can buy a nightclub which allows you to feed in production from those previously purchased business ventures to further maximize your profits. Of course, you also have heists bought through properties and facilities, which gives some gameplay variety, but really the most efficient way of earning money, and therefore the most popular, is through sourcing and sales. Let's talk about how this is done. First, you have to source the product. Then, you wait for it to be generated as stock. Then, you sell it. However, for the first and last steps, you will notice a small feature known as the global signal. This tells other players in a session that, hey, this guy's trying to make money, stop them and earn a profit. As a result, the main obstacle to success isn't necessarily the game, but the people inhabiting it. All it takes is for one griefer to swing on by and destroy your product and you're out of luck. The cruel twist is that payouts for destroying other players' products are very low relative to the worth of the product destroyed. Rockstar promotes activity which reduces net gain across the board. Now, say you want to bring some friends along to back you up. Well, following a successful sale, you'll receive the total sum of your profits, but your associates only receive a pitiful percentage of those earnings. Of course, when you dive into the details, you do find that associates of a CEO also make $5,000 for every 15 minutes of play, but this number pales in comparison to what players could make if they sold product as individuals. And here we have the third pillar of Rockstar's monetization strategy. The first is to lock everything behind a significant grind. The second is to pit players against each other to everybody's detriment. The third is to implement a system that actively promotes solo play over playing with friends. This issue extends beyond just the product sales. Heists are one of the most thrilling aspects in GTA Online, but without an effective team, the considerable difficulty and lack of lives means you're unlikely to ever find success with a group of random players. Races do seem like a cool way to spice up the experience, but when each race requires painful degrees of loading for an instanced match, only to create the ideal atmosphere for rude play, you'll be hard pressed to find any enjoyable races outside of dedicated racing communities.
Oh no, I am drunk! I'm actually drunk right now, what the f is going on?
Almost completely across the board, Rockstar makes it difficult to find or retain friends on GTA Online. In my time playing GTA Online, I've made a small number of major purchases, but despite being locked out from most content, I'm quite content with what I have, because I don't worry about what I have to contend with. More specifically, I don't hunt down the latest and greatest in new vehicles or weaponry, I pick what's fun. For example, a car with boosters which can jump into the air, or a very cheap motorcycle that, with wide rims, glitches out and becomes obscenely fast. These are toys and tools which are fun to mess about with a friend or two, and that's mostly how I have experienced them. The fact is that playing GTA Online solo just isn't very fun. The problem with many children, and sometimes adults in online games, is that they lack the emotional maturity to realize that if everyone was a bit nicer, there'd be an overall more enjoyable and positive experience. Were that the case, people would be more successful and feel less need to purchase in-game currency. Instead, Rockstar promotes systems that fill chat with vitriol, and encourage players to use the most broken vehicles, such as a hover bike with homing missiles, to grief others. This means that most exchanges with random players end with a bullet through your head.
That was really threatening. I stopped beside a guy who got off his bike, went noot noot, and he took a gun out.
In order to have a good time, you have to bring friends, and you have to decide not to engage with the attitudes that the game promotes.
No, 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 no.
That was such a good drift. Create your own session, invite your friends, and enjoy the relaxing experience of launching a submarine car from thousands of feet up in the air.
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh my god. Of course, there is one stipulation to this recommendation, and it involves the method of acquiring the money to purchase such gadgets. Look, I'm not gonna dance around it. Hackers are actually very important to the general enjoyment of GTA Online. It's amazing how the game generates the perfect environment for hackers to thrive. It's a major title with mainstream appeal that features an inconsistent and mostly ineffectual anti-cheat. The game encourages excessive grinding to earn the fun toys, and Rockstar created little goodwill in the modding community by offering unclear and strictly enforced rules for modders of both the single and multiplayer components. The general consensus is that mods which stay offline don't create an issue, but their general disregard for modding likely didn't help whenever creators of these online hacks considered the moral implications of what they were doing.
Oh! There's a hacker here! And now I'm getting kicked out by the hacker.
What was it?
Nice.
So it is a frequency that a hacker will drop into a session, likely wreak havoc for a while, then spawn oodles of cash on players nearby.
Wow.
Do
you want footage?
I'm already getting footage. I literally just joined and I got money spawned on me. That is unavoidable. I am by no means advocating for hacking. After all, if you make hacking software and Rockstar comes for you, it will cost you a lot of money, especially considering the weight that the company puts behind lawyers and marketing. Hacking is morally unjustified and a breach of their terms of service. However, it is unavoidable that hackers provide more players with the money to buy the vehicles and weapons that they otherwise would have given up on obtaining. And though I am by no means in approval of that, it is actually serving a positive benefit to many players.
Yeah, without the engine upgrade, this thing just doesn't lift. Maybe I should just buy that next. Oh. Okay, workshop 1.5. Ah! I've got enough. Engine. Okay. Oh my god. I can actually lift.
Ultimately, I tire of the way that the game encourages people to play. There's a reason that most griefers and high-level users play alone, and that's because GTA Online promotes a wholly antisocial experience if you follow its instructions. Taking the game seriously just causes people to drift apart, when it has so much potential to do the opposite.
I've done for a backhand. Oh, you like that one? I always have a trap card and an ace. And a trap
In the
up my
same
sleeve.
deck. In the last year or two, I've lost contact with a lot of people who I was friends with, mainly due to changes in our lives and circumstances beyond our control.
Do you think a fire truck can make it up there?
Nope, that's the point. Oh my god! It's made it an effort to keep in touch with the people who I care about, as I just can't take it for granted anymore. GTA Online has allowed me to keep that connection with some of my friends, as we can use it as an opportunity to kick back, take it easy, discuss our lives, or just shoot each other with fancy guns. The last thing I want from the game is an excuse to isolate myself.
I don't know, I can't see anything! Oh, okay. Oh, I fell out early.
Oh my god. Yes, no, yes, yes, yes! No!
Sometimes taking things too seriously can have detrimental effects. I play drums as a hobby, but I try to avoid comparing myself too closely to drummers better than I, other than to take influence, because I know if I do, I won't enjoy it anymore. I'd set standards for myself above what I can reasonably achieve, and it would become so stressful that I could give up on it entirely.
Oh, it'll be to your left, actually. Yeah.
I am not in submarine mode. How do I do that again? I haven't uploaded a video to this channel in half a year, and that's because I've been investing way too much emotionally in my work here. My standards have ballooned to irresponsible proportions, to the extent where even bringing myself to type up a script leaves me demoralized, sad, and apathetic. Occasionally, a nice comment or a reminder of my previous work gives me a small spark of motivation that I can harness, but my relationship with video work has become unhealthy, to the point where it negatively impacts my day-to-day life. I put great stock into the work here because it's one of the few things that I actively care about. It allows me to test my mettle across a variety of creative inputs like writing and editing, but never requiring me to be an objective expert in any one field. However, the unhealthy attitude I've developed has prevented me from doing anything with this. And as a result, one of the main things I truly care about has just been absent for the last few months. When that happens, it becomes really easy to become apathetic, as it feels like the days are just passing by one. The only reason that I've encouraged myself to write this video is so I could finally address this frustration in a constructive way. There is a serious problem once you start taking something so seriously that it stops being fun, and we can't always help it. It's why I'm very disapproving of the actual intended GTA Online experience, as it promotes a lifestyle of grinding and dissatisfaction in the pursuit of rewards that are meaningless without friends to share them with. It's counterproductive and it's isolating, but it's also why GTA Online is the greatest parody of modern society that Rockstar has ever made.